Hi, welcome to Physical Training for One-on-One Tactics. I'm Peter Twist and very pleased to join you at Idea China.
好，大家欢迎来到我们这一堂一对一的战术性身体训练。那我是Peter Twist，欢迎很开心来到 Idea China 的这次的盛会。
Our focus today is training in small spaces or for small space sport tactics.
那我们这堂课的最大的目的是要讨论一下如何在针对于小空间的一些运动，或者是在某些运动体育竞技运动项目里面，你需要在有限的环境之内就做出身体的反应。
The sports that lends itself to basketball, soccer, volleyball, tennis, badminton, whether it's directly an offensive player and a defensive player or across a net, we're responding with specific physicality to those intense dynamics.
所以比如说像是篮球啊、足球啊，或者相对一些接触性的球类，比如说美式橄榄球，那你的对手就站在跟你非常接近的前面，不管你要做进攻或是防守，你都必须要在有限度的空间之内，马上的根据你的对手的动作做出反应。
So first of all, thank you, Idea China, for organizing this event and hosting us so we can learn and grow together.
那首先我必须要感谢 Idea China，举办了这样的一个盛会，让我们能够齐聚一堂，然后彼此学习。
And I also wanted to thank Twist coach Jimmy, who's really co-presenting today as an expert in fitness and teaching.
那我们要感谢今天我们参与这个能够帮助我们提供这一次线上课程的所有工作人员，包含了翻译。
And let me thank you with admiration and respect for being a lifelong learner and for choosing as a coach and trainer and professional to make your business positively impacting others.
那最主要的我要感谢坐在电脑前面的各位。因为大家有一个学习的心，所以能够让我们坐在这边电脑前面，让我们的教学技巧以及我们的工作能够变得更好。
This is a picture with Peter and Kathy Davis, who I always like to give respect to for starting IDEA 40 years ago in San Diego, California.
好，那这两位呢 ，Peter 和 Kathy 呢是IDEA 世界峰会的创始人，这是这两位创办人在40年间，创立了 Idea World 世界最大的健身大会的这个组织。
In my home, I'm coming to you today from Vancouver, Canada. Some of you may have visited. If not yet, you can come and join me anytime in our mountains here.
好，那我呢，目前是在我的家乡，也就是加拿大的温哥华。那也许有些同学已经去过了温哥华，如果还没有去过的话，我诚挚欢迎邀请大家来温哥华爬山，看看雪。
And my background is I have received my master's at the University of British Columbia in coaching science.
那我个人的专业呢，我毕业于英属哥伦比亚大学的硕士生，那我所研究的是执教科学。
And my focus and thesis was on studying individual player development and how do we set them up for success, drawing upon all of the sports sciences.
那我的专业呢，在研究生所做的最大的主题就是如何根据不同运动员的个人做个性化的指导，以及帮助他们在体育竞技上面能够提升运动表现。
My focus has always been in sports and athletes, better every day. I'm actually wearing a better everyday band in English and in Mandarin. It says better every day, how we coach our athletes to set them up for success, but also how we improve ourselves as coaches, people, our fitness, how we treat other people, the intent to try and get 1% better every day.
好，那我个人的工作以及呃格言呢，就是大家看到我手环上面写的，包含了我这手环有中文跟英文的，就是 Better Every Day，就是我们希望每天都能进步一点点。那我们希望这个是一个心态，这是一个观点，这是我们的目标。即便我们每天只有1%的进步，对我们而言，长久下来都是一个很长久的一个成长。所以我们要怀着这种心态去面对我们每一天的生活，每天的训练。
And then a theme, a mantra of be ready. We need to be ready for our biggest challenges, whether it's a difficulty we don't want that's imposed on us or a challenge that's a great opportunity we aspire to. We must be ready.
所以我们的最大目标就是要让我们时刻准备好，准备好去，不管是心态上面或者是身体方面，随时准备好去面临生活当中各种各样未知的挑战。我们能够根据外来的产生的一些应激源，然后做出适当的回应。
I'd like to share a short video with you just to set the spirit of the presentation and the spirit of coaching to advantage others to success.
好，接下来我要跟大家分享一个短视频。那这个短视频最主要的就围绕在我们今天这堂课程的主题，让大家看一下我们这堂课程的精神在哪里。
To set the stage, I've been running elite sport camps for 20 years. We have athletes from all around the world, Italy, all through Asia, Russia, Sweden, Norway, that travel in to attend our camps to try and improve as much as they can in their off season.
那我在过去20年间，我已经开过非常多的这个训练营。训练营是参加我训练营的选手来自于世界各地，包含了比如说像意大利啊、亚洲啊、俄罗斯啊、瑞典啊、挪威啊，都是在这些选手的非赛季的时候来参加我的训练营。然后我训练营包含了身体的准备以及心理的一些恢复等等。
We'll join one group from Europe, USA, and Canada who gathered for 8 to 12 weeks to train for the physicality of technique and tactics in their sport.
那我们之前也举办了一个是这个训练营是8到12周，所以我们同样有来自像美国啊、欧洲啊或者其他世界各地的选手。我们在这8到12周里面最主要的焦点就在于如何打造你身体的功能性，如何提升你的精神层面，然后如何让你把你的状况由下往上拉到100%。
Can never go back, can never go back to its old dimension. Give everything I have. What I keep inside, what I keep inside, what I keep inside, what I keep inside, I will lose forever. Okay. So we'll say the video just ended. It ended. You could see on the video where it said "Be ready, Jimmy."
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And then my goal was to flip right back to here, so Lee can make that transition look good.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Let's kick it in gear here. There's no more. Yeah, that was the first time trying to jump off and use YouTube, but a little finicky on the share.
Okay.
All right, you can see with that video, the Be Ready theme is consistent. Our main target for our athletes, a mental intent.
好，大家可以从刚刚的那个视频上面看出来，be ready 时刻准备的，应该是一种持续性的状态。这也是我们要求，不管我们是一般的健身会员或者我们的运动员，都所需要具备的一个身体素质。
So with that passion and with that spirit, let's move into our course and look at some research.
好，那我们就带着这个时刻准备的这种热情以及决心呢，接下来我们看一下相关于那个肌力训练的运动科学研究。
My role as a sports scientist has been how to make the body stronger up on its feet during movement.
那我一向把我自己定位成是一个运动科学家。那我们投入了非常多的科研，去找寻怎么样是打造最强壮身体的最佳方式。
We always want to train to unify the body and give it its physicality for working quickly in tight spaces and under contact, body contact, collisions, and incidental physical contact.
所以我们最大的目标就是如何能够帮助我们的运动员，不只在外观上面变得更强壮啊，同时他们的身体素质，如果在相关的一些有接触性的运动，你需要在最短时间之内根据你对手的动作做出足够强大的反应之下，我们应该要来如何进行的训练。
As a researcher and a scientist, and the best way I encourage coaches and trainers to really refine their craft is to write. And I've been blessed to write dozens of books and certifications in the industry that lend themselves to the system of training.
那我个人在投入这个健身运动训练多年，所以我希望帮助所有的现在的教练呢，能够更好的发展你的训练内容跟训练计划。所以在过去几十年当中，我出版了大概超过10本以上的书，而且我也举办了好多个专业的证照，来帮助我们所有的人能够更有效的提升我们的运动员还有会员的效果。
Part of the understanding in sport has been hands-on, 365 days a year, coaching for 11 years in the National Hockey League with professional ice hockey players, a very battle-intensive one-on-one tactic sport.
那过去11年我的专业呢，基本上过去11年几乎是每一天365天，一年365天，11年都服务于 NHL， 就是职业冰上曲棍球联盟。然后这些冰球的比赛是非常的有竞技接触性，而且需要短时间就做反应的。
And with my team of 10 Twist Sport Training Centers and a group of coaches, we've chipped in to help out over 2,000 pro and Olympic athletes and 20,000 high school and college athletes. We've been at this for a long time with a great group of coaches.
那目前我 Twist 的这个训练中心在全世界一共有10间。那我们在过去10年当中跟全世界来自各个国家超过2000名奥运选手合作过进行训练，同时我们已经训练超过2万名来自全世界各地的国中高中以及大学的运动选手。
But this gives great context and perspective doing the miles with athletes to understand what do elite athletes need to succeed and what truly separates the best from the rest.
好，那这个给了我们一个非常宝贵的经验，就是我们要如何让精英运动选手成功，那同时又是怎么样的一个机转或怎么样的一个具体的条件，把精英运动员跟一般运动员区隔开来。
As you move up to higher levels in sport, everybody's good and everyone's in shape.
那当你如果有机会接触到非常高水平的运动员的训练的时候，你会发现每一个人的体能水平都很高，每一个人的技巧也都很成熟。
But you can win the strength competition in the weight room and not express all of it in your sport. You can win the endurance competition in testing and not express all of it in sport. What's important on the playing field, that's what matters.
但是重点是，比如说这些运动员，你可以在健身房里面比最大肌力，你有可能会是举得最重的，那你有可能在心肺功能的测试上面得到最高的分数，你的心肺功能是最好，但是不见得在健身房力量最大了，你在运动竞技场上的运动表现就最好，也不见得你在心肺功能测试的时候，你在最大摄氧量得到最好的成绩，你就能在比赛当中能获得冠军。这一切都取决于你实际上在比赛场上怎么样活动的。
Soccer is a great game a popular game in China and probably the most popular sport around the world. We helped coach the Canadian women's team in Beijing, China in the 2008 Olympics.
那足球不只是在中国，大概在全世界你可以说是最受欢迎的运动。那我在2008年北京奥运会的时候有带队过加拿大的女子足球队来中国参赛。
Yeah. And this is a sport that's exemplary where there's some linear speed and aerobic capacity needed. But this sport, even on a large field, comes down to offensive, defensive type tactics, one-on-one on the ball.
所以足球呢，它要求了非常非常多，比如说你必须要线性加速的能力，你要有非常强大的有氧功能，但是同时呢，足球呢，它更要求的是在攻防的时候，你1对1的战术交替之间呢，要如何来做转换。
Positioning is important, spacing out is important, using the whole field is important, but the game highlights happen in tight. 2 players competing for the ball, competing for position.
所以虽然像这种足球这种运动，取决是我们双方的这个球队怎么样利用整个足球场，但是在更多的时候呢，都是在2个人是在最接近的距离之内呢，如何抢夺那一颗球。
And over in China, of which I'm really looking forward to getting back when travel opens up, it's been an honor to team up with the China Olympic Committee and help out modernizing how we train and rehab for summer and winter sports.
那过去我跟中国的奥运代表队呢，包含了夏季奥运跟冬季奥运，也做了非常多的合作。我负责训练奥运代表队。同时，我也负责了一些运动员在比赛完季后做一些恢复跟康复的训练。
This was my part of my team in China, which was not just an honor from a sports standpoint, but just culturally and all the great friendships that we made. And learning more about the country and its rich history was truly a blessing for all of us.
好，所以这个是呢，我在过去几年我 Twitch 的团队到中国来帮中国的奥运选手做训练的合影。那我非常的感激，不管是在技术方面的合作也好，或者是对中国文化的接触来讲也好，我都非常的开心能有这个机会。
some of the sports, different sports that we can affect change on, table tennis and ping pong, Olympic hockey, who joined us in Vancouver.
那不止我们曾经帮那个中国的乒乓球的奥运代表队拿下2面金牌，然后大家后面看到的是，我们还邀请了我们的那个女子冰球队到温哥华去访问，而且做异地的训练。
And gymnastics, a high skill athletic sport.
那体操也是一个竞争非常激烈，然后技巧性非常高的一项运动。
And weightlifting.
然后我们的训练也包含了举重、
speed skating.
竞速滑冰。
Now, all of these sports share some commonalities in that we're looking to be the fittest, strongest, fastest.
那不管是不一样的那个运动项目，基本上他们有一个共同的特点，就是我们希望我们的运动选手在特定的这一项上面是最强壮的。
Technical skill and explosive capabilities are at a premium.
那我们呢，在希望最首要的，他们有一个他们具有本身的爆发性的速度以及身体的控制能力。
But some of the sports practice the same mechanics and the same patterns to become world best at those, while other sports are more variable with many more demands on the body and more interaction with our opponents. So there's more adjustment than reacting to our opponents.
那有一些运动竞技呢，你会发现它的动作的模式或训练的方式非常非常类似，所以他们可以使用共通的一些训练原则来帮助他们提升运动表现。那相反的，在另外一些运动呢，比如说像体操或者举重，它是单人的比赛，所以它的训练变量以及训练原则呢，就必须跟其他的体育专项运动有所区别。
This photo is right in Vancouver, at Twist North Vancouver. Zachary Ewan, he trained with us for 8 years as a young man and graduated as the first Chinese hockey player to be drafted as a defenseman into the NHL, professional ice hockey.
好，这个是在这张照片是在我们温哥华的训练中心总部来照的。那他这个人呢是过去在Twist 训练中心训练了8年，然后逐渐的成为有史以来第一位在职业冰球运动队里面担任选手的中国人。
This sport has a very specific technical pattern that's repeated and traveling the body in the same direction.
那竞速滑冰呢，又有点不一样。竞速滑冰呢是一个高重复性的动作，它的技巧性就是在于我在高重复性的动作状态之下，需要维持最大的速度以及控制我身体往前移动的这个方向。
This sport, also involving skating on the ice, must move in 360 degrees, while receiving body contact and reacting to opponents.
好，那但是冰球呢，虽然也是像溜冰，但是冰球不断的你在360度的方向上面要做改变，而且时不时你会发现有对手要往你身上来做冲撞，那你要不选择直接对抗，要不你要想办法去做闪避，所以你的身体就必须在最短的时间之内决定你下一步要怎么走。
So let's look at creating a game plan for such extensive requirements and in sports that are won and lost in very small spaces.
那接下来我们看一下，我们要如何为这种比如说高挑战性、高接触性，而且是在狭小时间空间之内就要做出反应的这些竞技训练，怎么样来打造训练课表？
I want you to believe in your players as well, Daniel and Henrik Sedin from Sweden, I coached, that were called the worst hockey players in the NHL to the very best in the entire league. Believe in what's possible.
好，那首先第一件事呢，我希望大家能够相信，任何事情都是有可能的，只要你对这件事情有信念。那这个是个 Daniel 跟 Hendrick， 他们是原来被这个 Daniel 这个人，他在 NHL 里面一开始被评价他是最差的球员，怎么打都打不好，但是透过了跟Peter 的合作呢，一路的让他从最烂的球员，然后跃升到整个季运动表现最好第一名的最有价值的球员。
So what does our game plan need to consider? The nature of sport is a complex environment. The sports we're looking at, I call unpredictable chaos, constant read, react, and respond.
那像我们这些，比如说有肢体接触或者是战术性的多人运动，那个运动的本质，第一个它环境很复杂，你在球场上你有瞬息万变的资讯不断的输入，再来呢你会有难以预测的干扰，你在投球接球传球的时候可能有对手或者是队友跟你释出不一样的讯息，再来呢你在最短时间之内你必须要有能力判读当下的状况，然后对于当下的状况做出一定程度的反应，然后接下来做出具体的身体的那个动作来予以回应。
Sports like basketball have offensive and defensive tactics. Tactics are strategies for the physical moves that an offensive player would select to try and move around and get away from a defensive player.
那比如说像以篮球为例子，那篮球它具有了进攻跟防守的战术。战术是什么意思？战术就是策略，你如何在有限的时间跟最小的空间当中，根据你对手所做出的那个反应，然后来转换你要下一步的一个动作的发生。
The commonality across these sports would be multi-directional movement, training to move in 360 degrees and highest intensity energy demands.
那这些运动的竞赛的共通点都是，它需要多方面向的动作，它不是在单一平面，所以你随时要往左往右、往前往后去做切换。再来呢，在比赛当中不断有高强度的能量需求。
And know that as athletes move up higher level, higher competition, two elements change. The amount of time that they have to make a decision shortens, and the amount of space that they're permitted before an opponent is on top of them shortens.
好，那根据我们这些，比如说竞技类球类的那个比赛的水平越来越高，那你会发现这个球员在竞技场上，他根据对手的反应做出回应的时间会越来越短，然后同时他能够做出反应的空间也越来越小，所以对于高水平的球员来讲，胜负关键就是如何利用有限的时间跟有限的空间马上做出回应。
Meaning when you compete against better players, the amount of space you're given gets tighter and the time you have to act gets much shorter. It has to be immediate.
所以也就是说，当你的运动员在比如说从最低层级的比赛慢慢进入那个预选进入了决赛，他所碰到的对手越来越强，他自己所能够掌握的时间跟空间也就越来越少。
So looking at one-on-one tactics, we design a player development program.
那针对的这些一对一的战术型的运动选手，那我们也发展了这个运动员的训练计划。
For this type of athlete performance training, I want to understand the sport characteristics that the athlete competes in.
所以首先呢，如果为了要能针对性的帮助这些运动员的话，首先我们要知道每个比赛的特项，它的特点在哪里，而且我要如何来贯穿整个比赛从头到尾有哪些重点。
I'll do a game and practice overview. How often do they play? How often do they compete? What's the length of that? What are the demands during that game?
所以我必须要了解在不一样的竞技比赛当中，这个比赛它要求的它是如何得分，这个比赛需要如何来进行，这比赛要求的，比如像动作模式、能量代谢系统到底有哪些？
It's very important to understand the positional variations. What are the responsibilities and techniques for each specific position on the field, court, or ice?
好，再来我们要了解在不一样的体育竞技上面，它的位置还有它方向变化有多少？因为这影响到他们在比赛场上要做出的回应或者是身体移动的空间会有多大，也影响了他们的在体能上面能量代谢的要求。
We understand or we analyze the biomechanics and the bioenergetics and the physiology of that sport action, especially when it comes down to offense, defense maneuvers.
特别是我们要做适当的评估，我们评估包含在生物力学、他们动作模式需求上面，他们的生理学，他们比如说骨骼肌肉的结构方面，或者生物的能量代谢系统，在不一样的专项，它所需要的能量代谢系统是仰赖于哪一些，所以这些加起来会影响我们的训练计划。
I'll do a time motion analysis. Time motion analysis understands what are the patterns on the field, quarter ice that the athlete travels, how fast do they move, how much rest do they get, when are they on the ball, when are they off the ball.
好，那同时呢，我们会做一个叫做时间动作相关联的评估。这个时间动作相关联评估的内容包含了，比如说单一个运动员他在赛场上面他移动的距离平均有多远，那他在这个距离之下，他移动的这距离他需要多快的速度，他需要花多短的时间，那在他第一次移动跟下一次移动当中，他中间有多少的间歇休息时间，这些我们都要总的来了解一下。
And from a higher level, we'll get an understanding of the year-round calendar, what that looks like, the preparatory phases, the competition phases. And if you're a trainer and you're coaching athletes from a variety of sports, you definitely want to get to know the sport culture and the sport language so you can actually speak in the same language as you're communicating to the athlete and their parents and head coaches.
好，那再来呢，我们要研究一下它，比如整年的赛季，它的周期性规划，比如说它赛季多久，非赛季多久，我们有多少时间可以休息、准备等等。那再来呢，我们要完全的融入他们的每个运动都有不一样的文化或是精神，所以你要完全的投入这个了解了以后呢，比如说跟他的专项，因为我们是体能教练，我们才能跟他的专项教练。跟这些球员本身或这些球员的家长们做一些非常接地气的沟通。
And our focus overall is less on the primary fitness characteristics, which is stretching, flexibility, aerobic fitness, and general strength, body mass, and fat ratio. More on the secondary fitness characteristics, which are our movement capabilities, our movement quality, speed, agility, quickness, reaction skills, and deceleration, stability, mobility, balance, anaerobic energy systems.
那当然，我们一开始最首要注重的是，比如它的本身的肌力、肌耐力、身体组成，然后心肺功能、关节活动度、柔软度好不好，这是最首要的。那关注了首要之后呢，我们再进来第二个是强化他们，比如说爆发力、反应能力、协调、敏捷。那个加速度能力等等。
Look at the demands of ice hockey as an example, and we could literally subtract hockey and put in soccer, basketball, many sports that have that one-on-one confrontation.
所以我们以 冰球为举例，那你会发现，如果我们拿冰球来举例的话，比如像是篮球、美式橄榄球或足球，跟冰球它们都有共通的一些特色。
So we know that there's little time and little space.
所以我们知道它的反应的时间跟反应的空间都非常的有限。
The athletes must read the situation and react quickly.
那运动员当下必须在最短的时间判读现场的状况，然后做出反应。
Second by second, through the entire game, everything that happens is unpredictable.
那再来呢，因为在比赛场上都要在最短的时间之内，做出相对的战术，所以任何事情都是不可预测的。
We train multi-directional movement, but literally, if we put our arms out from side to side, stick your arms out to the side and look at the distance from fingertip to fingertip. That's the distance, that's the space that your athlete needs to be expert in.
好，那虽然我们训练是多方向平面的一个动作，但是一般我们这种竞技运动员，大家如果把两个手摊开，就是在你左手的指尖到右手的指尖，就是两个手的臂展的这个空间是你的运动员需要在这个空间当中你要能够主宰这个臂展的空间。
So as we look at strength training, will we do some bench press and other traditional exercises? Yes. Will we do Olympic lifting and vertical multi-joint lifts? Yes, we'll do some of that. But really, we're building a lot more linked system strength and power to battle 360 degrees and to have the strength that we can fuel multi-directional quickness and agility in that small fingertip to fingertip space.
好，那对我们当然会做一些传统的力量训练，比如说像是卧推啊，或者增加爆发力，我们也会做奥举、挺举、抓举这些动作。但是正如我们刚刚讲的，我们的运动选手在运动场上是不断的需要转换方向，而他需要能够主宰的最大空间就是两个手的臂展，所以我们会做很多不同方向、不同高低活动范围的训练动作，让他在两个手拉开的这个空间之内，能够更灵活的去活用自己的身体。
From that type of a strength training and power training paradigm, we integrate balance, movement, strength, core in every inch of every rep, every second of every drill.
好，那这是我们 Twist 训练金字塔，我们有3大支柱，包含了平衡、肌肉力量以及训练动作。那不管我们在做任何的技巧性训练或者体能训练，原则上都是以这3大支柱为主轴。
And this shows from in the diamond shape, which is the joining of 2 triangles. The bottom triangle is functional training. The top triangle is sport performance.
所以我们看到这是我们 Twist 训练的一个周期性规划的一个示意图。那在下面的这个三角形呢是基础的功能性训练，那在上面那个正的三角形呢是运动表现训练。
You can see at the base of that diamond, the lower triangle, stability, balance, mobility, movement, skills, and link system strength that integrates all of those attributes. We're improving our human vehicle as a base to build from.
那大家看到在下面这个岛的三角形呢，我们会用整体平衡出发。然后打造基本动作技能，而这基本动作技能仰赖了你有一定的关节灵活度跟关节稳定度，然后提升整体力量。所以这个想象就是如果你自己身体想象是一辆车，这边是我们打造你这辆车的基础的设备、基础的引擎。
If I skip that stage and take shortcuts and jump right to the top for speed and quickness and power,you're not really going to notice it when we're having a sit-up competition or when we're racing in a straight line on a track.
那如果那个我们跳过了下面那个倒三角形，直接进入上面的那个运动表现训练的话，那基本上我们会错失很多基础的运动环节，除非啦你是比看谁自己做的那个一口气做的仰卧起坐最大次数比谁多，或者你只有直线性的往前跑。
But if you're lacking balance, you're lacking freedom of motion with greater mobility, you're lacking stability, which is muscle stiffness across joints so you can hold your position, you're going to notice that when it's in tight one-on-one battles.
那但是如果你要参与的是这种一对一有战术性攻防的体育运动的话，你就会发现下面的基础没打好，当你在从事真的体育活动的竞技的时候，你会缺少了稳定性，你会缺少了灵活性，你会缺少身体整体的平衡能力。
Okay. But as we progress from the bottom triangle, that top triangle with our anaerobic systems, especially our ATP system for the tactic execution and the glycolytic system so that we can be great late in the game. And of course, our speed, our quickness, our explosive power, those are the tools we use to express ourselves offensively and defensively.
好，那当我们进阶到上面那个正三角形，我们先从有氧基础开始打造，但是在顶尖的运动状态基本上都是无氧的，而且在所有高强度的高技巧性的运动竞技上面，我们用的是 ATP、CP 系统，都是输出力量最大、最短时间能够爆发出来的，所以随着运动技能的提升，我们的能量代谢的训练也要开始转移。
So let's look at the key athlete development pillars. The first is athleticism.
好，第一个运动员发展的关键支柱，首先是运动能力的打造。
We build off of athleticism with specific movement skill patterns.
那我们透过打造专项性的动作技能来提升这个运动员的整体运动能力。
And third is breaks. Breaking in English refers to stopping when we land a jump or we stop before we start in multi-directional action.
那第三个是 brakes， 那 brakes 在英文里面就有刹车的意思。那我们这边先用来就是我们在离心制动的时候，你需要有足够的缓冲能力，你需要有足够的急停能力。
And at this stage, we start to get more sport specific and into the patterns of that particular sport.
那在这个环节呢，我们会更多的把时间花在单一运动的专项训练上面。
From a strength standpoint, I want to link from feet, ground based through our hands in three-dimension multi-directional patterns, our link system power.
那再来爆发力，我们现在希望爆发力是全身的串联。我们有肌肉运动链从脚趾头一直传输到手指头，前后的肌肉、上下肢的肌肉一起发力。
And then our anaerobic multi-directional intervals are the energy system training that we choose.
再来是在无氧系统的多方向训练的间歇，我们会选择跟运动专项运动动作相似的一些训练动作来做无氧间歇。
And although we may train linear speed with a 100-meter sprint model, there are sports that is soccer, for example, that where we may get that kick in a linear sprint. Most of our athletes are not very often up to their top speed. They're working on stopping, starting, and quickness and changing direction in very small spaces.
虽然呢，我们也会让我们的选手来做100米的冲刺的间歇训练，但是对于我们的这个，比如说像是足球运动员来讲，在足球运动场上，实际上比赛的时候，他们很少有在短距离之内冲刺，把速度加到他们极速的这个机会，所以我们更多的是训练他们在短时间、短距离变换方向，然后稳定重心的能力。
So a little more on each one. With athleticism, looking at young kids, this is important. Young kids tend in most sport cultures to be streamlined into one sport at a young age. However, they do not have full development and early sport specialization, especially today with more sedentary lifestyles, with more television and video games and smartphones and computers, and some of our activities being taken out of school. Kids are underdeveloped. I'm noticing kids are not as good at athletes as they used to be. They're just specializing in one sport, developing a very, very narrow set of skills and movement patterns. It's so important. The best athletes rise to the top. The best athletes rise to the top at younger ages, multi-sport, athleticism, a full inventory of skills for the body to understand is critical and a huge advantage.
好，我们讨论到运动能力啊，其实运动能力最重要的培养是在小孩童的时候、幼儿的时候，所以我们应该要在孩童小的时候让他们接触各种各式不一样的运动。第一个能够发展他们的兴趣，第二个不一样的运动都能够帮他们打造不一样的专属的动作模式以及运动技巧。那我们现在看到在很多的地方，我们过早的就让我们的小朋友去运动专项化，所以导致他们可能在短期在某一些运动专项上面的技巧在很小的时候有很明显的跃进，但是等到他们长大了以后，你就会发现他们在动作模式以及身体控制上面有非常非常多的缺失，因为他们只会这个专项运动所相关的动作模式，以至于甚至一些他们日常生活里面应该要具备的一些身体素质都丢掉了，这是第一点。另外一个是，如果是过早的专项，那可能还好，因为至少他开始运动了。而我们现在发现，现在小孩因为久坐少动，过早专项化，最专项什么？玩手机、玩平板，这是他们的专项化，所以以至于他们的身体素质跟运动能力大不如前。所以我们可以很明显的观察到，现在小朋友的运动能力跟过去小朋友有一个非常天差地远的区别。所以我们希望是鼓励小朋友把运动游戏化，让他开心，让他去接触各种不一样的运动产生他的兴趣，同时培养他的运动能力。
If you are training youth who have been streamlined into specialize in one sport, then more variety in the training environment, really in the gym, artificially developing well-rounded athleticism for them.
好，那如果你是目前本身是比如青少年某专项训练的教练，如果已经是专项化的话，那至少在你的体育运动训练当中，给予他们各种各式不同训练模式的一些训练动作，让他们能够广泛的身体来达到完整的发展。
Movement skills, I'd just like you to consider what are sport skills. Sport skills we usually define as techniques. How do we serve in tennis? How do we shoot and pass the basketball?
好，那运动技能，我们讲什么是运动技能？技能就是某一专项的技巧，比如说你要如何投篮，你要如何传球，或者是网球你要如何挥拍，都是教你怎么样能够在比赛运动当中得到分数。
But 99% of an athlete's time is spent not executing those skills. Instead, their skill is body control and all of the movements that they do to get into position to have their hand on the ball.
那其实99%的那个时间，其实我们都没有真的在训练，我们以为我们在训练，但其实没有真的在训练，我们就是一直重复机械化的这些动作。那其实我们应该是把我们绝大多数的训练放在各种动作模式的控制。那与其让它做一个非常高反复次数， 投篮挥拍的动作，我们把它整体的身体控制以及运动模式提升上来了以后，它很自然的在这些它能够得分有力的动作上面，就能够更加的纯熟。
Now, some of our most common movement patterns for one-on-one tactics are stop and starts, turns and pivots, crossovers, angled running, backwards movement, and actual time training agility and quickness in one-on-one drills in the gym.
那我们在类似这种运动表现训练内容，我们包含了比如说急停，然后又急走，瞬间停下来，然后不管是线性或改变方向，再发射，然后再是转换身体，转换方向，然后是交叉步，双脚前后交叉，或者是斜向的移动，或者是向后的快速移动，要不然我们就是把这些敏捷性以及反应性的训练放在一对一相互对练的状态之下。
So movement skills, that sports skill is about movement execution and efficiency, being under control of our body and visually aware of our surroundings.
那我们的动作技能其实最大定义就是第一个，你动作是如何去执行的，然后你的动作效率如何？什么叫效率？就是你有没有办法在最短的时间内做最大的功，然后是你的身体的自我控制是不是有非常的稳定？再来就是你的身体、大脑神经对于周围环境的改变有多少的知觉？
I want to pick up off of this slide and really emphasize stopping efficiency, landing balance, the relationship of our body into the ground when we decelerate and change direction. That is where our advantage comes from.
那我们的动作技能最重要的就是我们在运动的时候，在活动当中，你停下来，你脚步停下来，然后根据你停下来，你会往地面上踩一步，让你身体急停，然后跟地面上有一个你踩下去的时候，它有反作用力，你借由这个反作用力回馈的力量，让你改变方向去做反向的一个移动。所以这些都是取决于你能够如何更有效率的去执行，如何能够不要浪费额外的体力或能量，然后完成这个动作。
Some fundamentals in philosophy. When we're moving, we want to apply strength overload to motion. So we're loading motion.
所以我们最主要的一个基础就是，我们希望是在实际运动之下来增加负荷。
Notice the front runner with this toe is really powering through. It's like powering through a body interruption, a body check, body contact. You're powering through.
所以你会看到在前面冲刺的这个人，他爆发力是从脚趾往上传输，他要对抗一个往后的拉力。
And to provide the resistance in the back, this athlete has dropped his hips and has the heels dug in, really putting on the brakes, stopping, and that's building the deceleration stopping muscles.
那对于前面的人在训练冲刺，那你看到后面红衣服这个人呢，他刚好他是屈髋，然后前面这个人是脚尖着地，后面这个人是脚跟着地，所以后面这个人呢，他都有反向的刹车，所以对于前面这个人他在训练冲刺，后面这个人呢，他在训练我如何在减速缓冲的能力。
From a strength aspect, we want to train strength application through our legs for direction change for those individual tactics.
那我们在力量训练方面，我们希望能够有更高效的实际上的转移以及应用，在不一样的方向切换上面，然后达到我们战术性的需求。
Exercise 12. So getting ready for those in-tight battles where there's more physical confrontation, we're going to look at a lateral bound
所以为了要让我们能够对抗外来的一些阻力跟干扰，我们希望要做左右的位移的平衡。
And how do we prepare for that? Look at the long lines as we come across. When I see the video at the full body, so preparation.
所以大家观察一下。
Sorry, Jimmy.
OK， 大家观察一下我们刚刚那个动作，我们在左右两边，那个哑铃移动的距离是非常非常远，所以它利用了我们身体跨越身体的最长的一个运动链，然后我们左右转换重心来控制我们所有的动作。
Look at the cross-body action and from ankle, knee, hip, core, shoulder, arm, long lines of strength and power and stability.
所以这就是我们刚刚讲的长运动链，从我的右脚的踝、膝、髋，透过了我的躯干，一直到我的肩关节到肘关节，到我手掌拿到的这个哑铃，它是一个非常大的力量传输线。
This sets us up to physically battle through one-on-ones, and it also sets us up to express explosive multi-directional movement quicker.
那这个是为了之后我们在1对1的竞赛上面做出反应打基础，同时也是为了如果未来我们要做相类似爆发性的左右两边切换的动作打好基础。
So we take that strength exercise and integrate it into a lateral bound for our side-to-side motion in changing direction with strong arms as we go through.
所以我们把刚刚那个左右切换的动作，再做一个进阶，到了我左右单脚，做一个左右滑雪跳，同时我手上再拿了额外的哑铃当做负荷。
So important to have the body linked together, true body armor from head to toe.
所以这个训练最重要点是把我们身体串联为一体，让我们的力量能够由脚趾一直串联到指尖，就好像我们身体穿了一个铠甲一样，肌肉铠甲。
Number 3, breaks, and those letters in English refer to balance, reaction skills, agility, quickness, explosive speed, and the main emphasis, all of those attributes contributing to eccentric strength for stopping, decelerating.
好，那我们刚刚前面讲的 breaks 讲的是离心刹车跟缓冲，但是我们把 break 这几个英文单字把它拆开来看，这是几个训练的字母的一个缩写。那第一个呢 B 呢是平衡能力，第二个是反应技能，那第三个 A 呢是灵敏，其实就是我们讲的敏捷度，然后再来是快速启动能力，然后爆发性的速度以及离心缓冲的肌肉力量。
Remember my quote, deceleration is the illusion of quickness.
那记住我讲的，减速的能力是加速能力的一个基础。
The most dangerous athletes are not those with the highest speed in a linear pattern. They're the ones who can stop the quickest and under control.
所以最可怕的运动员不是说你的线性往前冲的速度有多快，而最强的运动选手往往都是他最能够控制离心，最能够控制缓冲，而且在离心的最短时间之内，他就能够把他的力量转化成向心。
And from a sports specificity standpoint, this is the checklist that we consider for the type of drills and programs for each athlete that we're going to develop for them.
那再来是我们从运动项目的专项来看的话，以下这些呢是我们能够帮助他们以针对性的训练方式改变他们的动作模式或者是动作训练，来符合他们运动专项的需求。
Some things that are commonly not considered, the visual requirements and auditory cues common to the sport environment Are their balls, pucks passing? Do they handle it with their feet, hands? What direction do they receive them from?
那在很多的体育运动，比如说像是你要接球啊，你要传球啊，那你需要动态视力，然后你需要那个最短时间你要能够看清场上的状况，然后你要听觉，不管是对手的一些讯息的传导或教练场边指导，再来你必须要知道你的球要如何的往正确的方向传，然后你要控制你的身体。
We try and integrate the space and time demands and the type of decision that's made in the sport into speed, agility, quickness, and reaction drills in the training center.
对，在接下来呢，我们要在总和它对有限时间空间之下的反应，然后要在最短的时间之内做出正确的决策，然后要让它能够克服或者是有能力来掌控跟对手的身体接触，所以这些我们都会在训练中心之内使用一些训练策略来帮我们的运动员做强化。
And in some sports, we must prepare the athlete to fight through body contact and to withstand incidental contact without disrupting their posture or technique.
那在某些运动竞技上面，我们甚至要教那个运动员，如果比如说像是美式橄榄球或是冰球，如果对方就直直的往你身上做冲撞，那你要如何去对抗？你要如何去做反应？或者是你有没有一些其他在比赛场的策略你可以去执行的？
And to do that, to handle that body contact, we develop link system power, applying movement skills to strength. So we're loading motion.
那为了要想办法能够提升我们运动员的运动表现，所以我们就发展了叫做连接爆发力的系统。我们要把在动作模式的之上增加爆发力。
On your left-hand side, on this push exercise, I train the body to link ankle, knee, hips, torso, shoulders, arms. So we're linked in one strong line. And on your right-hand side, strength training also incorporates deceleration.
好，那我们在左边，我们做一个爆发性的推。那爆发性的推呢，包含了我们下肢踝膝髋三关节的那个伸展，然后借助下肢的力量，不管是把对手也好，或是传球也好，能够加倍的把力量输送出去。那我们在右手边的这边，我们拿个 Viper， 然后我们是左右的移动，所以侧跳的时候是一个爆发性增强性训练，但是你侧跳着地的那一刹那是个离心稳定的控制，所以我们在不一样的动作训练上面增加了负载，去强化不一样的需求。
And some of that strength training and power development must include cross body patterns. This is how we execute technique. It's how we throw. It's how we kick. It's how we change direction. It's how we exit turns. And multi-directional agility and sport skills illustrates cross body patterns.
那在绝大多数的训练动作上面，我们加入了跨过身体的模式、交叉模式，因为我们跨过身体的模式有助于我们转换方向、转换角度，或是转换身体的姿势，所以我们在那个有限的空间之内，能够更灵活的利用我们的身体。
And some unique drills where it is strength and strength endurance or power initiation. The focus is on holding our position, not being knocked out of that, or battling through position.
所以另外一个是姿势的对抗，我们这些姿势的对抗呢，能够帮助我们提升肌力，或是肌力、耐力，或是爆发性。所以我们可以让两个人做拿一个，像左边那个左边那个图，两个搭档呢互相的推一根球棍，然后 你必须要抵挡对方的那个力量，同时要维持本身的平衡。要不我们像右边的图呢，选手呢站在平衡板上，然后拿一个杠铃片，所以他的身体必须要在把杠铃片上推的同时，还要让自己站稳。
Our strength uses a plyometric technique for explosive power plus movement skills, and that's our expression of our sport tactics. Strength plus the explosive power initiation inherent in plyometric technique and integrating fundamental movement skills.
所以我们在这边定义的肌力量不是深蹲硬拉的最大重量，而是我们这边定义的运动场上的力量是由于增强性训练的爆发性，再加上动作的技巧，两个合起来，我们这边定义叫做力量肌力。
That link system power features, we train movement while lifting, and our goal is to sum the forces, to layer up strength as it moves from ground through to fingertips.
所以我们全身体连接系统爆发力的特色呢，是我们会为了特定的运动目的来做准备，然后我们希望把身体串为一体。所以当我们启动力量的时候，你的力量会从脚趾头一直往上传导到手指头去。
Our link strength and power needs to incorporate some single leg drills, a focus on building from the core to the periphery, and utilizing rotary power with a goal to transfer the most force.
所以我们刚刚讲的因为是全身连结，我们当然要做多关节，我们要做跨过身体的交叉训练，那我们也要做非常非常多的单腿的训练，然后我们希望我们所有力量能够从核心一直往外延展到我们的远端手跟脚。再来我们会容纳了非常非常多有跟旋转相关的爆发力，让我们的躯干能够把力量透过旋转传达出去。
We start looking at the base of that strength training and link power. We start with a controlled tempo, a focus on eccentric loading before we get into power initiation.
所以爆发力的进阶，首先我们当然所有动作是以节奏的控制为主轴，一开始不会让它做太快，要掌握了它的标准的动作模式。接下来呢，在爆发力之前，我们强调的是离心如何去吸收冲击，如何去稳定。
Ultimately, to be game ready and battle ready, we need to add quick coupling time between the eccentric and concentric contraction for high velocity, full range of motion action.
那接下来呢，我们希望他为了不管是比赛也好，或者是战斗比赛场上的战斗也好，要准备好。所以我们在那个比赛的当下，通常是你在活动了，突然你会有一段突然停止，然后再紧接着高速度的移动，所以这些都是在离心跟向心快速时间转换的时候，能够稳定了身体以后，然后快速的启动。
And then finally, in our anaerobic multi-directional intervals, the bioenergetics of our training for one-on-one tactics, there's a repetitious focus on the ATP system, max 20-second drill, some of them as low as 5 to 10 seconds for our real true bursts.
好，那个再来是我们是多方向的无氧间歇，那我们在基本上我们每一次间歇训练的间歇，我们焦点是放在磷酸肌酸 ATP、CP 系统，所以时间最多不超过20秒，所以我们可以设计，比如说敏捷性啊、爆发力、增强性的动作，最多就执行20秒。因为在比赛场上，如果比赛场更高端的竞技选手，你甚至可以把全力爆发的时间缩短到5到7秒，然后把休息的时间拉长，因为这是磷酸肌酸系统所需要的恢复休息时间。
And we also look at capacity, a big engine, so we can be great late in the game, late in our shift, and win in overtime.
那除了因为刚刚的磷酸肌酸系统是在短时间迅速动作的能力，那除此之外呢，我们身体也必须要有抗疲劳的能力，所以这边我们 一样要做的是那个无氧乳酸训练、无氧耐力训练。
Our multi-directional intervals begin at 30 seconds with a 1:6 work to rest ratio. And week over week over week, we graduate up to a 60-second full out multi-directional interval with a 1:1 work to rest ratio. Very big engine with high tolerance.
好，那这个我们这边做无氧抗乳酸耐力的训练，那我们会使用比如说像敏捷啊、加速度的训练动作。那我们的因为乳酸系统持续大概30秒到60秒，所以我们一开始会用30秒进阶，然后一开始的休息时间是1:6。那等到我们运动员体力进步以后，我们一口气的冲刺会把它加到60秒，然后慢慢的把我们的休息时间从1:6降到1:5、1:4，最后降到1:1。比如说他全力冲刺60秒以后，给他相对应60秒休息，让他再冲一轮。
All right. Be sure with your athletes that you're testing. I like to do monthly testing and monitoring. If I'm not testing, I'm guessing. I want to make sure the athlete's improving. I want to make sure my program is working.
好，那我习惯是我每1个月都要做一次检测跟监控，因为会员状况你不能用猜的你也不能你也不能用蒙的，所以我们习惯每个月做一下检测跟监控，确认一下你的会员的运动员的状态跟你想象一不一样，或者是他的各种身体素质透过1个月的训练之后有没有一些改变。
So bringing us home here near the end of our lecture time together with a little bit of mindset mantra, because mindset for our athletes and how they approach the physical training is very impactful.
最后呢，这是我们要来讨论一下，就是心态。你的运动员是心里面如何去做准备的，就体现在他如何参与你的运动上面。
We're training to be our best when our best is needed. Here's one of many examples. You're an athlete, you're on the sidelines, you're not getting into the game. A star player more experienced than you gets injured. The coach taps you on the shoulder and says you're in. You don't get to leave for 8 weeks to train. You're in, and you've got to be at your best right on the spot.
所以这句话，下面这句话是我们 Twist 训练的一个格言，就是 Be your best when your best is needed， 就是当你需要全力以赴的时候，你有能力毫不保留。好，这个能够让我们随时能够应付生活当中所有挑战，而且想象，比如说你是个板凳球员，好，你一直没有机会上场比赛，突然今天你们家的王牌选手受伤了，他带伤下场，然后今天你的教练走到你旁边，拍拍你的肩膀，就换你上了，这是你千载难逢的机会，你不可能跟你的教练说，不好意思，你可不可以再给我8周的时间，我再练一练再上来。当他要你上的时候，你就有能力上场，然后一鸣惊人。所以这个就是我们这句格言的表现，的最大的精神。
So that mindset, I say mindset before muscle, so we know what it takes to get to the next level.
好，再来下面是你的心态要先于肌肉准备好，就是你要先把你心态调整好了以后，你才能完全投入进行下个阶段的训练。
These are the things I've observed in the world's best athletes who consistently stay at a high level.
以下这些特点是我常年观察，位于全世界顶端精英的运动员的一些共通特色。
They have deep character and focus on teamwork. It's about we, never about me.
第一个，他们永远把焦点关注在队员上面，他们会跟所有的团队合作，而不是把焦点放在自我之上。
Leadership, positive attitude, and an immense work ethic, very tough perseverance and consistent commitment.
然后他们有足够的领导力，能够感染所有的合作的队员，然后他们态度是正面，是积极的，而且他们有专业的职业道德操守。
The two most common attributes are whatever it takes attitude and they love to train. If they didn't start out loving to train, they needed to learn how to love to train.
然后呢，他们对于他们的想要理想呢，会坚持不懈，同时他们会有一个我愿意付出一切来达到我的梦想的不计代价的一个态度。同时，你必须要是热爱训练，你要热爱你现在的所有的一切事物，你这条路才走得远。
And continuing with that, taking your game to the next level on a day by day, approaching that training, intensity and bringing good energy, bringing high energy are key.
那要如何把你的比赛带入下一个等级？那最大的关键就是你有没有办法从头到尾维持你的身体的，比如说体能或是精神状态都在一个最高最佳最理想的状态之下。
Now, this is equally for you in your career and things you aspire to. You've got to go create your opportunity. You can't sit back. None of us get handed anything. Go create your opportunity.
这不仅是对我们所训练的会员或运动员，对于我们教练来讲也是一样。永远不要坐着等机会出现，你必须要主动出击，创造属于你的机会。
Have a continual, relentless hunger for that drive for improvement, better every day. Never stop pursuing improving.
好，然后再来就是你要不断的对于你提升自己的能力要有相当程度的饥渴，你要不断的想要抓住任何机会让自己成长。
You got to be prepared to be challenged and expect to fail, but be certain that's the process for success.
好，那你随时要准备好接受挑战，而且你要有接受挑战有可能会失败的心理准备。但是要记住，你的失败是将会成为你未来成功的养分。
So stay committed to your habits that take you in the right direction. Work through physical and mental fatigue, and you will get to positive results.
那你要做好坚持好习惯长期的一个行为的改变。那你要必须预期到如何去掌控疲劳，如何去掌控力竭，如何去管理你的压力。
The greatest thing that can come from training, when we train, we cause failure, be it fatigue, be it strength levels, be it not being able to coordinate and execute a drill. There's neural breakdown. In the training, we fail. Then we learn, adapt our body, and execute and improve.
所以你要有强烈的信念，也就是我们讲的自我效能。我相信我做得到。不要畏惧在训练的时候啊，我会害怕。我会失败，因为我们可以从每一次失败当中学到一些经验，帮助我们再次的迈进成功。
Fail, succeed, fail, improve, succeed, fail, improve, succeed until you get an I can do it mindset, and until that becomes a belief system. I always trust, I'm always confident, I'll figure it out how to improve, that I can do it.
所以，就算我失败了，我会再次成功；我再度失败了，我会再度成功。所以，你要有一个非常坚强、相信自己会成功的信念。所以，不要害怕失败，失败只是证明了，你离下一次成功又更接近了一步。所以，只要有一个很坚强的一个自我意识跟观念，你永远不会因为失败而打倒。
The top athletes and the most successful people in the world.They just don't quit.
所以，精英运动员跟这世界上的成功的大人物共同点就是他们永不放弃。
I want to finish by thanking Coach Jimmy for excellent translation to cooperate together with me today. For you joining me to so I can share education for you, and Idea China for hosting this virtual event.
好，最后我要谢谢大家今天在这一堂课的参与。那我要感谢 Idea China， 再度感谢给我这个机会，能够跟大家分享我的一些训练理论跟哲学。
And wrapping up, to encourage you to let your brightest light shine, which means be authentic, be real, give your best, don't hold back, share your best with the world.
好，最后我要一样送大家一句话，就是闪耀你自我的光芒。对于所有事情呢，要保持积极热情，完全投入，不要保留，不要让你的人生留下任何的遗憾。
All right, much strength and peace to you, and all the best. Thank you kindly.
好，祝大家能够越来越强壮，然后保持平和。谢谢各位。
All right, have a good day.
好，拜拜。